Hello. Hope you're there. I'm here. I know I'm here, but I don't always know if you're there. I do know if you're there if you make a comment in the comment section. But for those of you that kind of hang out in the brush, hiding, and don't make comments, I don't know you're there. But here's something I can assure you of. I'm well versed on the following. I am here. And that's not an existential thing. That's not a metaphysical thing. That's just that's just the reality. And Mark McDougall might be here. But I think when he says here, he means there, not here with me. I'm clear that Mark is not here with me. Thus, by process of deduction, I believe he intended to communicate to us that he was actually there and not here. Hi, Debbie, Radine, Lisa, Mark, and Ann. And Kathy trumps Mark by saying that she, not just stating, promising. Now, this is a quantum leap from a mere statement. See, Mark stated, I might be here. That's reservation. That's kind of holding back. That is not a real, assertive, affirmative gesture. Kathy takes that, wipes it out, and goes, I promise I am somewhere. Thus, Kathy has grabbed the bull by the proverbial horns and has made a declaration I believe we can rely upon. It is said, I read it with the kind of force of personality that I believe that she is somewhere. I believe in the truth of Kathy's statement. I'm not going to deny that I believe in the truth that underlies Mark's statement that he might be there. I believe that that's a real possibility that he might be. But I think more importantly is I know, because I want to state with some, hello, Sean and Carla. I wanted to say with some conviction. I wanted to say with almost with gusto. I'm going to stop short of gusto and simply say that I am clear that I am here. Furthermore, wherever I go, there I am, right? So that is how I think one should open a podcast with, a dose of hard hitting reality, right? You tuned in to this podcast. You didn't know what to expect. You knew I'd be here because I'm here at 6. But did you expect that I would say, I know for sure that I'm here? That's like, pow, right? Right in the kisser. You tuned in and right away I was, boom, bang. I said, I'm here. You were stunned by the virulence of this, assertion, right? All right. Now I'm going to let you relax a little, take a deep breath, calm down, everybody. Hi, Chris and Becky. So everybody who's here, who's taking a punch to the face, now, trust me, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to make any more declarations about being here or you being there or anything like that. So you can relax now and just enjoy the podcast for what it is, right? Just breathe in, breathe out. Yeah, that's cool. So let me tell you a little bit about the day. Now, understand that my days are fairly uneventful. Okay? So what happens is about 5:59 p.m. in the evening, as I'm hitting go live, I kind of freak out. Night after night, 6 nights a week, I have anxiety because I realize what would I talk about? Especially of late, because I haven't been watching the news. So I can't really talk about the news. So I can tell you about the day, but how do you take an uneventful day and share it with people in a way that they don't go, oh my God, did I just sit through that? Like, oh my God, I will never get that time back. I can't believe that I sat there and listened to him talk about his day as if it had any relevance or any value to your life. So let me try to kind of spontaneously share with you events, put them in a context that somehow in your world it connects. Maybe the connection will be how mundane today was. I'm not saying that's it. I'm not saying that's the key. I'm just saying. So uh, I got up. Now, I don't actually believe you to get excited about that. I went to my first in-person AA meeting in a year. And I got up and I just decided, I go to a Zoom AA meeting all the time at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I really decided that I'm really tired of listening to the same 18 people, right? Now, if they're watching, they're going to get offended. If any of them are watching, they're going to go, what does he mean? He's tired of, we're not tired of him. We haven't said we're tired. Doesn't matter. So I got up and I went to the old meeting house, and there was about 12, 13 people there. And oh my God, I was sorry I'd left the house. Anyways, I sat for an hour. I got to see some people I hadn't seen for over a year because when the pandemic hit, if you didn't get on Zoom and you were in AA, I didn't really see you, right? And as some of you know, I was in Thailand December, January, part of February, came home, was sick, got out of bed on March 4th, went to the hospital to visit a friend who was at the ER, and that was it. She was declared in immediate jeopardy of dying and spent the next 12 days in hospice. So I've really been kind of socially distanced since December sometime when I went to Thailand. So anyways, this was my first time seeing a couple of the people. And then I'm like, all right, yes, Kathy, thank you for. So in order to go to an in-person meeting where I go to AA, you must wear a mask and your seat is already designated, not where I sit, but all seats are already been measured out 6 feet apart so that you're not supposed to move your seat. There's a mark on the floor where your seat goes. Thank you for bringing that up, Kathy. Yeah. I wore a mask. I wore 2 masks most of the time I was there. I'm a 2-masker. Anyways, so I did that, right? And then here's where the day gets good. This is where I expect to generate some excitement and to have people who may have had nothing else going on in their life until 6 p.m. just now, and you were gracious enough to tune in. Here it goes, okay? I had a coupon for Subway. It's only like 8:30 in the morning, and I go to Subway, uncertain if they even sell lunch sandwiches at that hour. I know they have a breakfast. Well, it turns out, let me allay anybody's anxiety, you can buy all their sandwiches at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you can use your coupon. So I did. And I took my sandwich and I went home. Now, some of you are not quite titillated yet. You're like still like holding back, thinking, is this going somewhere? I don't know. All I know is after I laid down for a while, I thought to myself, why don't you go to Costco? You haven't been there for a while. It's something to do. Go to Costco. I don't go very often, but I'm a member. So I go to Costco. And boom, bang, pow. I get there. I walk around. Nothing on my mind that I need, but that doesn't stop me from buying 2 Charisma towels, bath towels, some lentils, and oh, I got some those pretzels with the peanut butter inside. I got some uh, chips that are made all of cheese. They're not flour, they're cheese. So I know now it's beginning to like rock your world as you hear about these kinds of things. Um, and at some point, I called Chris. I was on my way to Costco. So here, let me explain. While I was waiting to go to Costco and ride my bicycle, I kind of fell asleep. So I'm napping, and all of a sudden I hear this bang, man, and um, I look. So my because here's my backyard, and that's where the sound and the cats are like, what was that, right? It was loud. It was the wind, man. It was the wind knocking stuff around. So I'm like, well, it's too windy. The weatherman has already said it could be gusts up to 30 miles an hour in Dallas. So I'm like, it's too dangerous. So I started going to Costco, and I decided to call Chris because Chris is a bicyclist. And what I want from Chris is I want some reassurance, some affirmation that I'm not supposed to be on a bicycle because it's windy, it's dangerous, it's difficult. It's all the reasons you stay home. By the way, it was cloudy too. So there's no sunshine, it's cloudy, looks nasty, feels nasty. I call Chris. Ring, ring. He answers. I know immediately this is the wrong guy to call. How do I know? Before he even says anything, I hear the wind rushing. I already know what he's going to tell me. He's on his bicycle already. Son of a bitch. It's not even noon. Guy's on his bicycle. He doesn't have an electric bike, and he's bicycling along, chatting with me. The wind's so ferocious, I can't really even hear him until he stops and, stood somewhere where I could hear him. And as I said, he did not provide me with the sustenance I was seeking. What I was seeking, and I mean this, I wanted somebody to tell me it's okay, Ken. It's all right that you didn't go biking today. It was a bad idea. There's no reason for you to do something that stupid because of the wind. Now, you think Chris is going to tell me how stupid it is to be out there when he's out there? No. All right. Hi, Kathy and Rachel. So I get to Costco. I'm killing time. My anxiety level's up because, like the rest of you, all right, it's the human condition. And this is where you'll comment if you wish. It seems to me that as the pandemic has settled in, the longer we kind of sit back waiting for the all clear bell to sound, what happens is you begin to feel like I should be doing something. I'm a fat fuck. I should get out. I should walk. I should run. I should go to the gym that's not open. I should do something. I shouldn't just sit here eating bonbons and watching old movies on Turner Movie Channel, TMC. So I know you all feel that way. You want to get out. You want to feel like you did something today. You didn't just vegetate. You wanted to engage with the world. If you couldn't engage with, people, because that's still risky behavior, you felt like, well, maybe I should get out and I should engage with nature, or maybe I should go to a freaking restaurant and eat, outside somewhere. Maybe it's a hot dog stand. I don't know. I'm just saying, it seems to me that we all must, of necessity. Otherwise, if you're not harboring some desire at this time in your life to get out and do something, then the next question is, well, then what have you been doing with your life? I mean, this is not a young group. I'm looking. This isn't a young group. This is a group that needs. We're playing the back nine. There's 18 holes in golf, and the back nine is the end of the game, right? We're playing the back nine. It's time to get out and engage. Most of you are retired or out of work. And you don't have anything better to do in the time of the pandemic except to get out, walk a mile or two or three, or go to a park nearby, sit down on a bench, and close your eyes and meditate. And now don't do this someplace that's so isolated that somebody could mess with you, because I've got PTSD and I can't just sit with my eyes closed very readily. I've already explained that in previous podcasts. Okay. So, and the other thing I was going to tell you is forget about playing the back nine. Let's pretend you're still on the front nine. Hi, Tammy. Let's pretend you're still on the front nine, right? If you don't have this thing we call desire, then what you're going to lose out on is the impetus to participate in your life and in those kinds of activities that will bring you spiritual, physical, and emotional wellness. There must be some inclination, some desire that's internal to humans that makes them uh, feel. I don't know if I want to call it a compulsion, but it's certainly the arising desire. Now, when desire exceeds um, a certain level, when it becomes grasping, then the Buddha says you're into suffering or you're getting ready to suffer. So the Buddha really admonished people not to go with desire, neurotic desire, passionate desire. Don't be chasing. Be able to stay in the moment, analyze the moment, and let this desire that is natural within us all guide you or push you or motivate you to open a book, read the Bible, read the Buddha teachings, read a novel, read a comic book, watch a good show, watch a documentary. By the way, everything I just listed, I don't do, but I did at one time. I ride a bike, I watch TV, not documentaries, and I play on Facebook. Anyways, I'm, I believe my inclination is that I can't look inside you, your soul, your motives, your heart. I mean, I can guess from having conversation with some of you. One of the reasons I became fairly fast friends with Chris is we shared a value system when we engaged in the lively art of conversation. That's one way that initiates connection, right? Shared values, shared job, shared pursuits, shared parentage, or shared ancestry, right? There are various things, but you have to communicate in order to identify these things. All right, uh, uh, putting that to the side, um, what creates connection uh, also arises out of this desire to operate at a level that it makes you feel happier. My mistake in my early days was believing that happier probably was quickly accessed by drugs and alcohol or whatever, sex, drugs, rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? So I made a mistake. I wasted a lot of good time. That is time I could have been putting to better use to drinking, drugging, and stuff like that. What I have found now is that I can harness this same desire for contentment, for a semblance of happiness. I can harness it with things like my meditation practice, by my bicycle stuff, by my hikes. So that's that's what gets me up and out. Plus, I full disclosure. I've told you before, but I will disclose it in this context. I would be 350 pounds if I stopped moving. I eat for three on a good day, right? I'm being honest with you. All right. That gets me up and out because I know that if I stop getting on the bike or hiking or whatever it is I'm doing that's physical, I'd just be a fat fuck. Lisa says, I miss my friends and family and hugs, live music, eating out with my circle of girlfriends. I feel like I've been robbed of all that, and it truly sucks. Now, that's an interesting point of view. Thank you for sharing that, Lisa. I don't feel robbed. And now I'm wondering why I'm not relating to the part about being wrong. I miss my friends and family. I don't listen to live music. That's a younger person's pursuit. Eating out. I ate out a lot because I'm a single person and I don't cook. So I understand that. But I don't feel robbed. In fact, in a sense, the pandemic gave me an opportunity to participate in this social experiment of kind of, how should I say, a sacrifice for a common good. I recognized early on, I think you know that about me because we talked about it. I felt early on that this was just what is, and I'm participating in this great social experiment. And while, uh, but then again, I've been meditating for a long time, and living in monasteries and stuff, you don't really spend a lot of time uh, necessarily doing a lot of things that you probably did, Lisa. Um, so I probably am a bad measure, robbed of time with my loved ones, Lisa says. And again, you know, like I said, the term robbed denotes something negative. Now, I don't associate the pandemic with negative because when I do that, when I started labeling things as negative. Now, having said that, Greg Abbott's an idiot. Governor Greg Abbott's an idiot, and he is robbing us, possibly robbing us, of relief. So while I believe that we were moving towards relief, I believe that the governor of the state of Texas, the governor of states of Florida, South Dakota, Arizona, and another maybe 14 states they're going to get me mad because they're going to rob us of the relief that we had a right to anticipate. I don't know if there's such thing as a right. We had a reason to anticipate that we were coming out of this, right? Lisa also said, I haven't gotten to see my little namesake niece in over a year. It kills me. Yeah, that's, and I don't know if this is true. This may be sexist. I think women more than men, because most of the women I spoke to have somebody, usually nieces, grandchildren, children, whatever, that they hadn't seen. And there was this pent up demand, more so with women than with men, or maybe more so with women than with me. There were friends I wanted to see. My kids, they came by maybe once a month, But, when I went to Chicago, it did bother me that I couldn't spend some good time. Kathy and I think Kathy checked in already. If she's still here, Kathy and I bike every year. And the weather was miserable when I was there. There wasn't going to be any biking. And this is something, Kathy can correct me if I'm wrong. If she's still there, I hope she'll send a message. We biked. We have probably, except for when she's had an injury, I doubt that we've missed an opportunity to bike for the last, I don't know, 20 years. I could be wrong. Could be 5. She would know better than I. So, Kathy, am I right that pretty much we biked and walked for 20 years or so? Wouldn't you think? Joan, the Rangers will have a full capacity crowd on opening day. Okay, Joan, that's completely fucking nuts, isn't it? Isn't it? That's crazy. So Kathy's saying, yes, it's been many, many years. So this year I get there, and not due to injury, but due to weather, we can't really do the things that we normally do. And Kathy and I, solid. I mean, it's just like when I'm ready to go to Chicago, I have maybe 5 people I call. Maybe 20 I will see if I have time. 5 I will call. I will call Kathy. I would call Tom, my friend Tom. I would call Ricky. I would call my sister, have to because I stay with her. And I would usually call my mother, right? So those are the people I'm going to see because historically I've been doing it every year forever. Oh, and I'll see Kathy and everybody in Hyde Park. I'm a huge hugger. I'm the type of person that will hug a total stranger at any time. I really miss that connection with friends and even with casual acquaintances. Well, and clearly nothing I'm going to say to you, Lisa, would in any way ameliorate your pain uh, that you have experienced not being able to be the extrovert that you are. Um, I got it. When Lisa's really stimulating for me, a recognition and appreciation of the kind of solitary life that I have lived off and on over the years. Let me put that in context. When I went into the monastery back 11 years ago, and I had to live as a monk, and I couldn't touch anybody. I couldn't touch any female, and I was really asked to not touch any males. And that went on for 4.5 months. Didn't touch anybody. My wife was not allowed to sit too close to me. My daughters were not allowed to touch me. That's just a monastic rule. Okay, females can't touch monk and a female. So and then I've been alone a lot. Then I went to Thailand and lived in a monastery, and I didn't touch anybody for 2.5 months there because they're monks. I shook their hand as I was leaving at the airport, and the abbot was standing there, and he used to live with me in Arizona, and he's following the same rules that we established in Arizona. And he says to me, even though it's not a monastic rule, he says, don't touch them, don't shake hands. I did anyways, because what's he going to do to me? I'm getting on an airplane. I mean, you can't penalize me, can't make me change rooms. Um, so because I lived in his temple. If I was coming instead of going, I might have to pay more attention to what he said. And by the way, I'm not a huge hugger, anyways. I mean, I'm not a touchy feely kind of guy, but I can recognize from what Lisa is saying that this is really something that motivates people. I know people. I know lots of people like Lisa. They're much more sensitive than I am. They're much more touchy feely. But I think whatever touchy feely I do have has been moderated by my participation in the lifestyle that I've sought out over a period of time. So today was supposed to be comedy, and I'm not. I wasn't going to be funny. I posted comedy. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing your exposing your thoughts and sharing. You know, I like when somebody put something that I don't have to argue with, but it stimulates kind of a reactive thought. So so Lisa posts that she's a huge hugger. Obviously, when we talk about values and stuff, I'm not going to fake it and go, oh, Lisa, I'm a huge hugger too. Oh my God, I know exactly how you feel. Oh, Dios mío, mommy. Okay, so that's not me, but I've matured enough at this point to have somebody say, um, that's how they feel, and me to be going, yeah, there's people going through that. Kathy, like me, is not a hugger and is even sometimes uncomfortable when people initiate hugs. I don't know when we get together once a year, Kathy, if there's a lot of hugging going on. I don't remember. Isn't that sad? I've been doing it all these years. Kathy, you haven't come very often, so I don't know because Kathy was working a lot when she lived in Chicago. So I don't remember. Someday you'll have to tell me, or you can tell me today, if we was if that group is a hugging group. And when I'm telling you, Kathy, about that group, I'm referring to my childhood tribe from my teenage years, 14 to 19, that I still go back every year. I have a reunion every year. I am waiting for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. Oh, I go back every year, except this year. I couldn't go back. And I don't mean this year. Last year, when I went and I told you I saw Kathy, but there wasn't much we could do. We wanted to eat outdoors. It was nasty weather. We did eat in a restaurant where there was only one other table, but otherwise. So Kathy, I don't know if our group, I know that a raw hugging that group is fine. Okay, thank you. I know Aurora's a hugger. Whenever she sees me, I know we're going to hug. So, moving right along. Lisa said, I can dig that. I totally understand when people don't want to be hugged, and it doesn't hurt my feelings one bit. Everyone is different. Yeah, yeah. And there was a guy in Narcotics Anonymous back in the 80s and 90s when I was going to Narcotics Anonymous, and he hugged everybody. He'd walk up, I give hugs. You take hugs, hugs instead of drugs. And I'm like, sure, fine. This went on for years, by the way. He hugged every time he saw you. He hugged complete strangers if they allowed it. When they showed up at a meeting for the first time, Paul would walk up and say, I'm a hugger. You want a hug? You know, and most time people were like, okay. All right. So I keep meaning to tell you about the comedy thing. So I went with old school comedy. In terms of, for those of you that are new to the podcast, I like to just throw stuff onto, because when I started podcasting live, at first I didn't really have to put anything, just turn on and everything just kind of functioned. All of a sudden, there I was, I could talk. Then one day it said, you need to have a title. So I had to put a title in under the title. And then it says you got to put in a description. You know, if you didn't do this, then when you hit go live, you were going to get, instead of going live, you're going to get this little prompt that would say, you haven't given a description yet. So I learned, I better do this in advance. So that's what originated, is I was trying to fill some space so that when I hit go live, the freaking thing would go live. And now it's become a thing with me where before the show, I don't think about talking, but I do think about links. And Bill Burr, I think is funny. Stephen Wright, I think is funny. Sam Kinison, I don't know that he's funny, but he's so different. I thought, man, you should throw some Sam Kinison in there. Now, these are not merging comedians. And, I have tried to give some airtime to emerging women comedians or established women comedians because they just don't seem to get enough airplay. And then occasionally, whether it's music or whatever, I try to find something that's more obscure. When it comes to comedy, it's not easy to go with obscure because they got to be funny. And if they're really funny, they tend not to remain obscure. Like, for instance, this guy, you probably never heard of. His name's George Carlin. Listen.
And we never seem to examine them very closely. We just say them as if they really made sense. Like, legally drunk. Well, if it's legal, what's the problem? Leave the guy alone. He's legally drunk. You know where you can stick it. You hear that, don't you guys? You know where you can stick that. Well, why do we always assume everyone knows where they can stick it? Suppose you don't know. Suppose you're a new guy. You have absolutely no idea where to stick it. I think there ought to be a government booklet entitled Where to Stick It. Now that I think of it, I believe there is a booklet like that. They send it to you when you complain about your income tax. Selling like hotcakes. Well, is this the fastest selling item we could think of? For this figure of speech? Hotcakes? Beers, cigarettes, coffee, even eggs. You go to the average place where people are ordering breakfast, you'll find a lot more people ordering eggs than are ordering hotcakes. But it doesn't sound right, does it? Michael Jackson's new album is selling like eggs. People won't say that. It doesn't have the right ring to it. Undisputed heavyweight champion. Well, if it's undisputed, what's all the fighting about?
So, George, this George Carlin guy, Lisa says George Carlin's best. He was good. And, it's interesting. If you have an opportunity and you go on YouTube or whatever, Google, interviews with him tended to be pretty impressionable. I mean, they impressed me. The way he described the mundane and the common in our lives and made it even more clearly mundane and common. In other words, he just didn't get excited by what he saw in the landscape. He just kind of said, nah, there it is, and let me tell you what you're looking at. This is what you're looking at. And he did it in a way that made you smile and sometimes made you mad, not at him, just at events. So, all right, it's 6:35. Now you know that I picked comedy because I'm posting links and sometimes I post music links. The books he wrote are written so well, they will make you laugh out loud. He was brilliant with wordplay. So is that guy that I don't like because he's so right wing. I have a book of his. He was on Saturday Night Live. He's a very conservative guy, good looking guy. And he wrote a book, and he used to do a thing on TV. He used to have a little show, and he was great with wordplay. Why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Can I never remember anybody's name? I told you I'm playing the back nine. Am I like I'm playing the 17th hole? There's only 18, Is the degeneration and deterioration that seems to be taking place inside my head, is that an indication of, the brain cells are dying? Miller. So what's his first name, Mark? That's exactly who I'm thinking of. Yeah, Miller. Thank you. So what do you think? Do you people forget names of people or celebrities that you ought to know? Or do you forget how many years you've been living in your home? Dennis Miller, thank you. Do you people begin to suspect that maybe brain cells are just exhausted? They've been around too long and they're beginning to quit on you, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, it's a drag. When I tell you that when I see an interview written or in person, and it's some grand dame of the cinema, right? It'd be like, the Catherine Hepburn or somebody, right? And they're being interviewed and they're lauding what a great thing it is to have gotten to be their age, and that maybe they're 70 or 80 or 90, and they're explaining to you the wonderful life they've had and what a joy and what wisdom they've accumulated, and they wouldn't give it up for anything. And then here I am at 68, clawing my way, trying to get back to where I came from. And when they try to push me forward, it's some days I'm good. Other days I'm like a cat. If you ever tried to put a cat in a cat carrier or something, okay, then you'll know of what I speak. If you never tried it, I apologize. They put their 4 paws up, tops and bottoms, and it's almost impossible to get them in. And then once you think you've got the control of them, they can twist their backs in such a way that you lose control of them anyways. So that's what I'm like some days with the aging process. And this from a guy who, one, is absolutely worked on the acceptance of age. Absolutely. I'm clear that aging is a natural process, and I'm in a place of acceptance. I am in a place of acceptance, but there's another me that seems to lurk inside that's like, oh, hell no, I'm not going. No, baby. No, I'm not. No. Don't get old on me. There's this young man inside that keeps thinking about things like sex and music and stuff that is not ready to get old. But Lisa says, Carla said always, my train of thought, says Lisa, derails all the time, and I'm only 52, but I've smoked a lot of weed in my time. Okay. Kathy, the mental file cabinet needs to be purged of the crap so you can get to the good stuff. So what Kathy's saying, and it's possibly true, is as we get older, we've accumulated so much information. What is the old saying? I've forgotten more than you know, than you've learned. You say that to a young person. I've known so much, I don't forgot more than you know. So, but purging the crap is not as easy as simply saying it or typing it, because I don't always know what crap is. And by the way, I can take my phone, which is not right here. I can go through my phone contacts and I can go through it and I see names. I don't know about you. I don't know who they are. I didn't put a full name, or I did put a full name, still doesn't do anything. And I'm sitting there going, now who is this? Now, here's what I will do. Eventually, I'm going to purge it, right? It's crap. Boom, gone, right? Delete, gone. It'll be about a week later. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Oh my God, I'm never going to be able to call them because I don't know where to get their number. I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, why didn't I remember when I was looking at the name? Why did it have to come to me a week later? Oh, Jesus, right? So, um, and you know, Lisa's copped to smoking a lot of weed, and that may have participated or created the situation where her mind maybe isn't quite as, you know, sharp as it might have been otherwise. In which case, I'm a real dull blade between the smoke and the weed, the smoke and the meth, snorting the coke, drinking the vodka. My God, I need to be grateful that I have brain cells, right? Listen, I've said it before. Let me say it again. When I go by a prison, I generally look at it and think, but for the grace of God, there go I. If life was fair, I certainly would have gone to prison, right? If life were fair, I would have overdosed like so many of my friends. If life were fair, I would have I would not have good health, because all the things I imbued my body with would have caused a real long-term negative effect, which I'm not aware of at this point. So, thank goodness that life is not fair. Thank goodness I didn't get what I got coming to me. Let me finish on this note, though. Um, I I don't know if my vacuum video posted, because I haven't been on since I tried to post it. So I'm sitting there vacuuming, and I thought, you know, I'm going to take a video of this wonderful vacuum. I'm going to highlight the headlight. So I went into a darkened room that I vacuum all the time, and I vacuum it in the dark. There's no reason to turn on the light. I got a headlight. So I decided to video. So I videoed it and I tried to post to Facebook, and I don't know if it did or it didn't. But here's the thing: as I'm vacuuming with this cordless vacuum that sucks up everything, it self-adjusts. So when you're on a tile floor, it's one thing. As soon as it detects a carpet, it digs in more. It's got to, right? It's got different. It self-adjusts, right? Okay. So I'm sitting there going, dude, I am so lucky. I am so in 2008, I lost so much money that I talked to my accountant today, and I haven't filed taxes promptly for the last 2 years. And the reason is I will never pay taxes possibly again for the rest of my life, because I live on Social Security, which is nothing. I mean, I get about half what the normal American in retirement would get, at least half of what a lawyer or somebody like that professional would get. So I live on that and some savings. And I thought to myself, I could, you know, so, oh wait, so I'm telling the accountant, and the reason I don't quickly file taxes is because I don't owe anything, because all these losses, I have so many losses from my businesses that failed, that I may die before I have to pay tax again, because I'm taking the losses. You can't take losses unless you have income, right? So I don't have income. So whatever losses I have each year, they get to go against. I mean, I lost money on real estate, tuxedos, automotive transmission shop, uh, uh, um, what do you call it? The soft serve yogurt. I devastated my financial well-being. But I've got a vacuum cleaner that's got a headlight and works on carpeted floors and flat floors, and it's cordless. It's cordless. I plug it in, it'll go for 2 days. It'll do. How blessed is my life that I can feel this jubilation at being able to have this and knowing that this is something that's this is good. Don't take it for granted, baby. You've got this. You had to work your way up to it. It's like e-bikes. You start out with a crappy one and you're like, oh, e-bike's fun. Let me get a better one. And then eventually you get a really swell one because you realize I use it, I like it, I'm getting enjoyment, it's worth it. That's what I'm with vacuums. I started out with corded vacuums. Then I bought one for the pet area, just a cordless one, so I could quickly. Then I liked the cord, and then I just built on it. Anyways, I've gone over time. I apologize. All right, some of you saw the vacuum video. Good. I caught you vacuuming. Thank you for reminding me about housework. Well, here's the good news, Ray Dean. Your house is, it's no, it's not. It's not. I was going to say it's manageable, but with those two boys in there, I don't know that it ever could be characterized as manageable. I apologize, Ray Dean, for where I was about to go. It's absolutely a false assumption. All right. And Chris has just shared with us, and outside of Becky, none of you, there may be nobody else that knows this. So I think we should make a pronouncement. I don't know who else knows this, but Chris apparently is thinking about a new road bike. And my guess is that he has not told a lot of people that, probably Becky, his wife, and now us. We are part of his community. That's cool, man. All right, I got to go teach meditation now. So I'm going to boogie out of here. And you're going to metta with me, but we're going to do the shortened version. Hands together before our hearts. Our heads are bowed, our eyes are closed. We take a deep breath. And we think to ourselves, may I be happy, healthy, free from harm, free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice bring me freedom from suffering. May my mother and father and all my family members and all my friends be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they too find a path to follow to bring them greater peace and comfort. And to those persons that I harbor any ill will towards, I send them goodwill, kindness. May they be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they also be enjoying their lives as we send out this kindness. And to all living beings, may all living beings find that they are the recipients of our goodwill, our collective goodwill, so that they may be happy, healthy, free from harm, enjoying lives in safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mark and Ann and Kathy and Lisa and Joan and Chris and Becky and Rachel and Kathy and Lisa. I think I said Lisa and Kathy, two Kathys, a Rose, a Carla. Was there any? Oh, Sean, maybe Sean stuck around. It's hard to tell. I think I remember Joan. Thank you all. You're a blessing in my life. I hope I'm a blessing in yours. Peace out.